Okay, all you devils, how we doing out there? Sam here with you. It's Friday. It's the 8th of November here. So, of course, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. So I thought we'd start here with our just a visit back to our weekly. Basic assumption has been off of the low here. We've got a 1 in. We've been through our ABC right to the golden zone. We had the nice reaction. So looking at it out here at kind of bird's eye view, not unreasonable to think we've had this little reaction. Now perhaps the 1-2 going in would get us started on our way here with the target up here, which I think you guys know I'm getting that, right? So I'm just looking at that. Well, here, do it this way. Get it right on that low. So here's our, we use that as our shorthand. There's our 1618. Put it up here a little over 24,000, 24,680 would be the exact target that we're after here. So got to get it started with a 1-2. Some level. So that's a contender here. So we come back over here, and so I've gone from the weekly to the hourly. So here's that pivot off of the golden zone, the reaction that we got. I do think we now can be more comfortable with the idea that this is all one contained impulse here. So I've got this correct, if I've got this correctly identified, I should say. We have a contender here for a 1. Now, with that assumption that this was an impulse, if it's 1-2, well, the assumption would be we'd be heading down to anywhere from the 50 to 618, 786, also a contender here. Now, what I've done here is just kind of wicked off some of these prior pivots here, right? Now, we had the other one was here, but now we're through that. So take that off. You can see we're kind of coming into this. You know, we got through the little pivot here where we just had very little market acceptance here, which is essentially tied to that pivot, right? So if you just, always a good idea to kind of bring them over, and you see those two pivots where we just had no market acceptance there. So we're through that. So I'll take them off. Now, if we're coming back up, right, there'll be some resistance here. But my point being, I'm just leaving here the pivots here that may still have some influence, and they seem to be lining up at some interesting levels. So just standard ops, right? If it's an impulse and we're looking for a 2, I'm just going to grab here up to our pivot. Now we're through the 50. We've just bumped into this pivot here. You can see it here right to the tick here. Little reaction here now to the count. So this had been, moving sideways for so long, it really started to look like a triangle. So it was somewhat of a question mark. Did we potentially have a triangle here in a 4 going up for a 5? Because, of course, we can't have a triangle in a 2. At this point, I think we've got to go with the triangle B. It's, is it gorgeous? No, but it's, I think, the best alternate here of what we can choose. D, a little, E is notorious to underthrow. So now we're down seeking the C of the A at the larger degree would be A, then B, then C, right? Perhaps golden zone, not unreasonable to anticipate considering, we go back here, right? Golden zone, right? Wouldn't it be just, right? It's the most responsive level in the market, in any time frame, period. Wouldn't be much of a surprise to see us retrace all the way to the golden zone, right? Now, does it hold? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but that would be the expectation. So if you weren't a buyer here, right, you guys will recall where I was kind of full-throatedly suggesting that there was an opportunity here. So if you didn't participate in that, said, okay, right, which you'll hear me say this often, right? So rather than try and pick the turn, if you'd rather wait, get a reaction, wait for the first retrace, okay, well, there you go. Here it is right here, right? I'm not going to yell at you again today. Or I don't mean to yell at you, but I'm not going to, how about this? No F-bombs, not going to raise my voice and say bye, right? It's, it's individual choice here that you are certainly, just as we were looking at this on the weekly, right? So let's just think about it. Okay, so same idea, right? Where's the opportunity here between the 50 and the 618? If it's going to play as a 1-2. Well, here we are, right? So you waited, you didn't like it there. I didn't quite, it wasn't a 5 of the 5 of the 5 of the 5 there. Didn't quite like it. So let's see what happens. We get a look at the reaction, right? We get a massive reaction. Okay, I'm going to wait for the reaction, and then I'm going to look long and hard at that retrace because maybe I've got an impulse and a retrace. So maybe I got a 1-2. Okay, there you go, right? I mean, I can't do it for you. So you're right there. Now you can look at this and go, all right, so if that's A, B, and I like to be really precise, right? If that's you, all right, so one thought is, okay, I'm in the zone. I just start laddering in here. That's one thought, not on margin, right? Accumulation. We are definitely in the accumulation zone here. Of course, nothing says we can't just blow right through that, right? Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. For probabilities, for traders that understand the nature of risk and reward and exposure, and we all have our individual risk tolerance. Hopefully you've got a trading plan, right? So if this is something that's an option for you that's consistent with your trading plan, this is not a terrible time to start looking at some light accumulation here, because we don't know for sure, shit, right? It was like waiting down here, waiting for the 5 of the 5 of the 5 of the 5, and you wake up one day and it's done that. Now, the Elliott count here, just like this one, looks incomplete. It looks like if this is correctly labeled, right, and this is the way it's going to play, maybe we've got just the 1, 2, right, 3 still working on it. We get a little 3 into the 4. We come down golden zone. Now, if you want to try and play it tick perfect, right, and you're anticipating a clean Elliott count here to finish it, like, so you're kind of dealing with the same issue here, right? So if you think about it, so you could do the same thing and say, I want to see what happens at the golden zone. If I get a reaction, well, then I'll wait for the little ABC here, right? Another option for you. We're trying to get it just right. Now, of course, the hero play is to try and catch it right in the golden zone, assuming we get there. We're not too terribly far away. It's our low here. So this is 86.53, golden zone starting at 84.59. Right? We're not far away. So we're going to pop up here a little bit. Probably worthwhile wicking this off here as our potential 1 of the C. If we're going to retrace here, so even if let's zoom this down a little bit more. Let's clear that off. So if this is the 1, right, because you can see that there's a 5 in there. If that's 1, I got a skinny 2. Right, so if it's 1, right, well, we did make the 50. Right, so feel better about that, right? Vegas wave, right? It just tucks right in just beautifully. Gotta love the Vegas wave. Right, so here's our 1618 shorthand. So we've gone the distance that you might anticipate. We've bumped into some structural support here. Okay, well, right, so far you've got a clean contender. So right now, maybe a little 4 going in before we head down one more time. So just line it up. All right, you guys know how to do this. All right, here we go. All right, anywhere from in this zone right here, I might start looking for maybe a little structural potential resistance right here at the 50. So if this is going to come, if we're going to get something along these lines anywhere in this zone. Now I'm not interested in shorting it, right? But I'm very interested in what's happening if we get there, right? And if we get there in that fashion, right? It's right. You guys know why I like this, right? The risk reward is so favorable here. Again, I'm not advocating anybody buy anything on margin, right? It's a stupid thing that you just don't need to, right? That's not with Bitcoin, right? You're in an area of accumulation here, right? As to how you want to start and where you want to start. Right, up to the individual. If you want to be, really going for it, well, you've got this here. Note here where if we get this, if this is the pivot of the 3, which way too early to say that with any degree of confidence, right? A little algo target right there. I wouldn't ignore that, and I wouldn't wait for it to get right in the golden zone, right? The algos are prone to front run here. Certainly we could go in, we could certainly go through, but if we start this, so what my suggestion would be put some alerts on this, right? It starts to come down here. I want to know about it. Now, we do have a little bit of additional technical confluence here we can use to our advantage, because what we're always trying to do is stack the odds, right? How many technical components can I get here to line up? Well, so right now, we've got just the straight retracement and we're in the high probability zone where we're looking for a 2, right? We got all that going. We know that. We do here, you'll note here as I go to open this up here, so this is visible range, but you will note here that once we broke here, now to the golden zone, we have relatively lower market acceptance because of how quickly we went through this. Right, just common sense, right? We didn't have time to base here. We had plenty of time to base here, right? This we know. So if and when we start to push up here, that's going to be a lot of resistance to get through. What we want to do is come back and test it, and that's how we get up and through, right? But all of this, right? We've been going sideways for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Plenty of market acceptance here, very little here. So once we broke here to the lower edge, there was just nothing here, right? So we fell. And look what we did. We fell until we hit some support, some structural support, right? We broke this one without much trouble. So got through the 50. Now there is a tendency, you'll notice that often if we break the 50, it's high probability we'll get to the golden zone. So it wouldn't surprise me that we get down here. But, you know, again, it's sort of like waiting down here or waiting over here, right? I mean, are you going to care? Eventually, this is kind of when I was ranting on about that. You know, if you bought it at 86.50 or 84.90, right? You know, 2 years from now, you going to care, right? Assuming, right? Right. Emphasis now. Assuming this is what happens. You know, which is a bold assumption, right? It's not just because it's lined up doesn't mean it must happen, but it certainly is. As a trader, fuck, man. Bitcoin, really? You gonna let that pass you by? Hard to understand that. So, but if you want to wait, you've certainly got it down here, and the upside is gigantic. We can put together a little risk reward here. So if we're gonna get a true third up here, let's get this out of the way. Up we go here. What kind of risk reward can we structure here real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm gonna try and get a few more for you guys today. Oh, even if you give it a little room down there, this is just getting to this would be the assumption we get the third of what would be the first. Okay, think about that, right? So this would be, we'd be just putting in the one of the third at this degree. So this if we get it would be the third of the one. So what kind of risk reward do you get there? Well, there's damn near 18 to 1. Is that unreasonable? Think we might go back to 13,000 in Bitcoin? Well, right, so we'd be going past this old high, right? We'd be going up and challenging this high, where you can kind of just look at this and go, oh, okay, well look at all that. There's sure going to likely be some resistance up there. So if we can get a true third here, something like that, right? There's going to be plenty. Right, plenty of resistance. Remember, right? This is a golden zone, so we know there's going to be selling pressure up here, or you can think of it as supply, come into the market. But right now, this is just retracing. It's pretty much doing exactly what, way back here we were like, opportunity. Well, okay, well it wasn't going to do this in a straight line, right? Nobody anticipates that. Right. First question is, does this pivot hold? If it does, at least we maintain our 80% probability of getting to the median line, right? So, if it's going to drift off here, it's going to take, right? So we're not going to do it here, maybe still, right? Possibly. We're out here, and that's towards the end of the year. Get up here, we're well into next year, this next summer. That's, we're into May, June, July of 20, just using the framing of the median lines, which gives you kind of a time component to it. So getting up here and was summer of 20. Right, would you be sad about that, right? Is that too long for you? Well, let's be realistic, right? So something like this, we're just getting on our way here. We're just putting in the third of the one of the third. Now, of course, right, the next thing I'm going to do, pull this off here. Now let me get some of this cleared out of here. If we're going to come down there, what are we going to have? Golden corner pocket, right? If we get there. Right, 4 or 5, bring it down, right? So we get this little play right into the golden corner. Now let's line this up. All right. Hard not to like that. Right, if you're a member or follow on YouTube, what are you waiting? What are you waiting for there, right? That they don't tee up any better than that. You got the impulse, you waded through the sideways, now we're getting the little sell-off, we're coming right into support, we're right in the buy zone. know, again, I mean, I can jump up and down here and, you know, say buy fucking Bitcoin right now, but you know, you make that decision yourself, guys. But you know, again, if you're in this space, what setup do you need? What setup can someone put in front of you that's better than that? Well, shit, why would you not take that trade? I don't know, I mean, every now and then I hear, well, I think it's got to go back down and test that 3,000, 5,000, 6,000. Of course, that's possible. You gonna let that one go? I tell you, I wouldn't. All right, guys, kind of short and sweet today. Well, so we'll certainly keep your eyes on this. All right, guys, back to you. I'll get a couple more for you.